Welcome to the Harshie Podcast. This is Brandon.
In January.
We're back.
Is the door locked?
It's locked.
All right. I wonder if people think we have like a podcast office, but it's our bedroom. So
No, we don't have a studio.
No.
Just a corner in our bedroom.
Honestly, though, if we had a studio outside the home, would we ever make it there?
I would. I'd be getting the hell out of here as much as I could. I gotta go to the studio and stuff or something.
So you're saying we need an out-of-home studio one day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm excited to get back into podcasting.
Yeah, we've had a little hiatus because of your Australia trip.
Yeah. 2 weeks in Australia.
You're back, although tomorrow you're flying out to Toronto as we record this.
Yeah, I am. I am going to Toronto for an event there and a book signing at a grand opening at the Womb in Burlington. And then next weekend, I go to Madison, Wisconsin. And then 2 weekends after that, Portland, Oregon. And I think they all have 5 to 10 tickets left. So if you want those, go to bwfconference.com.
And get your ticket.
That is right. All right. So we're going to talk about something that has been on my mind since I went to Australia. But before we get into that, we have an awesome sponsor that we're going to talk about today.
Do.
Yes, Rooted Apothecary.
Yes, indeed.
And their CBD products. They have hemp-derived CBD oil rollers, tinctures, and formulas that are designed for use by the entire family, which I don't know if a lot of us are thinking about that just yet. It's just becoming normalized to even use hemp-derived CBD oils. So to have things like for tummy aches and teething rollers that combine CBD and essential oils in a diluted formulation specific to infants and toddlers, to full spectrum CBD oil that lessens anxiety and stress and is safe for breastfeeding mothers. I mean, that's just amazing. That's awesome. I mean, I just think back when, we were having our first few kids, I would have loved to have that on top of other natural remedies that we used with our little ones,
Oh my gosh, yeah. Especially teething. I can't even tell you how awesome that would have been.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. With our 6th beard baby, she was our worst teether and we didn't have access to teething rollers like this. I mean, it would have made all the difference. We were sleep deprived and everything around us was falling apart. And to have something like Rooted Apothecary CBD teething rollers, that would have been such a blessing.
10 straight months of teething. CBD oil could have definitely helped.
I don't want to talk about it. It's really triggering.
Yeah, it's bad.
I really don't want to. So no, but we have tried their full spectrum CBD oil. It's phenomenal.
Yes, indeed.
And I also use the stress and the hormone emotions roll-ons. There's 2 different ones. And we've just been on the tip of the iceberg trying them out ourselves and haven't gone beyond that yet, but we're going to. We wanted to try it for ourselves first, and their product really is what they say it is from personal experience. Yeah, so you can go to their website, rootedapoth.com, and use the code FAMILY, it's all caps, FAMILY, to try some of their products with 10% off.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm telling you, it's worth it.
And if you check out any of their social media, it's also Rooted Apoth.
Yes.
That's their handle and their website. So it's pretty simple, pretty easy to remember. They have a nice
Instagram. It's got a good feel to it. I really like it. They do a good job.
Yeah, and we just took the kids out for an afternoon out, and the drive home was pretty stressful. And
yes, it was.
I just took some CBD oil about 15 minutes ago, and I'm feeling much better.
That's good.
Much more relaxed.
That was a little stressful. We never know how it's going to go. You put 6 kids in a Suburban and you go out for a drive or to eat. Sometimes everything clicks into place and it's just awesome. And other times it's not. It's just not.
Yeah. And when you have a tired 4-year-old.
Yeah.
That's my God.
Actually the biggest culprit.
Yeah.
Yeah, on how it goes, which way it swings. Like she's like the swinging vote, right? Like she's the one that really, it determines how it's going to go.
If she's eaten enough and she's slept enough, she's great. If not, she ruins all of our lives. At least mine.
Yeah. And then the car was acting up and it was hot. And then the 13-year-old had to pee really bad. I mean, it was just like one thing after the other.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
And I just put my hand on his shoulder and just started rubbing gently. I was like, I love you. Like, it's okay. I just need to get home. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, today we are going to talk about showing the fuck up.
Yes, indeed.
This has been on my mind. I've talked about it on my Instagram since I went to Australia, and it's something that I'm being mindful of every day since I've been home. When I was in Australia, I did 3 conferences, one in Perth, one in Brisbane, one in Melbourne. And you guys, they were out of this world. They were powerful. They were just moving. They were life-changing. You know, the speakers, we had Anthea Thomas with Hypnobirthing the Manga Method, Angela Gallo, Shalom Stone with Rockstar Birth Magazine. She was in Melbourne. Candace was in Perth for Hypnobirthing as well. And then myself, of course, speaking as well. And the energy that came together with all of these powerful women and mothers and birth workers and dads and partners was, I just don't think, I can't recreate it. Like it was unique to each one. And it was life-changing for me too, actually. You know, I do these events I've been doing my own events 6 years now.
Yeah, since 2013.
Yeah, so 6 years.
Yeah.
And wow. And I've put on over 120 events, I think we're at.
Something
I have to
like
look
that.
it up.
Yeah.
And they're all beautiful. They're all wonderful. Who's meant to be there is always there. The space that's being held by myself and other speakers is always, it's just with so much love and so much intention, and we don't get that a lot. We don't get that in a lot of areas online and in real life, in our families, friends, communities, a whole lot. Some of us do, but it's a very small amount of people that get that, and very rarely. And so it's phenomenal. But Australia was like next level. It was just so amazing. And this is why I want to talk about showing the fuck up. So I had decided to cancel them.
Yes, you did.
I decided after I changed the dates from February to April, because after a lot of nagging my publisher, their Australia publishing house agreed to print the books on the same time frame as US and Canada for Australia. And I thought, well, I'm not going to go out there 6 weeks before the book comes out now that I've gotten this yes. So I checked with my speakers and venues, and we changed the date to go after the book came out, right?
Right.
And 99.5% of people were like, rock on. Like, that is awesome. Now we get like the book. We've all been waiting 9+ years for this. And it was just a lot of excitement, a lot of understanding, and a few people couldn't come, so they transferred their tickets or whatnot. And there were a handful of people who emailed me and were not nice about it. And this is one of the things that really hypes up my anxiety. You know, I have made myself incredibly vulnerable for 9 years now in this online space and traveling and doing events. And there really aren't any fucking words to explain how that feels and how much that has changed me, and just really what that puts me through. You know, even if I'm being positive and things are going well, it is a lot to take on mentally, emotionally, and physically. And so one of the things I have a really difficult time with is emails for this reason. And so those emails, a handful of people sent me some really not friendly emails, and it made my anxiety skyrocket. It really did. And I took that, and my anxiety, he took that. I call my anxiety he now. And I think like my anxiety has some masculine, toxic masculinity and, whatever. But he took it and ran with it. And the next thing I know, I'm thinking everything's going to go wrong. The trip's going to go wrong. The traveling's going to go wrong. Customs is going to go wrong. I'm going to get in trouble for something. People are going to just do stuff to me. Like I was just like, why am I doing this? Why am I going to take extra time away from my family? And you guys, going to Australia for 2 weeks and putting on 3 conferences is ridiculously expensive. So I'm like, why am I putting myself through all of this? I'm just going to cancel and refund everyone's tickets. And that's what I decided. Like, I was just shutting down, and I was pulling back, and I was hiding. And it felt wrong. Like I still felt anxious. I didn't feel good about my decision. And I sat down to meditate about it. And the first thought that came to my mind was, January, stop fucking yourself. Like you are literally creating more of the issues that you're so worried about. Like your anxiety is creating more situations and more things that they can be like, see, told you, look how bad this is. Look, this is going wrong. And I was feeding into that and I was creating more of that. And I realized I had to do something completely fucking different than what I've been doing to prove myself wrong, to shut my anxiety up because he's a dick, and to do something different. And so I decided I was going to show the fuck up. That I was not going to take away this opportunity from myself to go to another country and see all these new places and meet all these new people and possibly have, things that move me and inspire me and change me in good ways. And then 300 other people who have been looking forward to this and needed that space so bad. And I was about to take that away from them. So I decided not to do that. And I decided to own it. And I hired an event planner and we made it happen. And it was one of the most incredible experiences ever. And there's been a lot of things that I have gone through and I've been working really hard to change in my mind and my life and make things right and do things better and change things and transition things. And I do a lot of that on my own. And it was amazing to go to Australia and meet powerful women like Dr. Danielle and Kath and Angela and other people that I've mentioned on my social media, and plus all the other people that came to the events. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like people got me too. I wasn't just getting other people and holding space for other people, but it was reciprocated in massive, massive ways. And I felt all these pieces of me that I've been working so hard on started clicking together because I wasn't alone in it anymore. And so the whole entire trip was incredibly affirming. It was unbelievable. So every single conference I started by thanking everyone for showing the fuck up, because how many of us every single day have things, situations, fuck ups, people that we know or we don't know that give us so many reasons to not show up, to not try the new thing, to not talk to that person we want to talk to not start that business, to not change jobs, to not quit that job, to not start staying home, to not start working, whatever. I think so many of us every day have a really hard time. We know what we want deep down. Like we know who we are, we know what we want, but we're so scared to do it, which is totally justifiable. We live in a world that is telling us why we shouldn't do it and how we'll mess up and why it's so hard. And, and first of all, if you're surrounded by people that are only responding to you in that way, you need new people.
Yes, you do.
Right? You need people that are like, that is an awesome idea. Like, let's figure that out and let's talk that out and see if that would work for you. Or, just be excited for you. Even if you don't ever fucking do it, just be excited for you. Like that's the kind of thing people we need around us. Right? So not only are we not showing up for new things, the scary things, but then we're also on another level, we're not even showing up for ourselves, which I've been talking about recently too, like with self-care. And I'm not talking about like the fancy shit. I'm talking about just feeding yourself breakfast. I know there are so many people, especially mothers, who get to lunch and they never even ate breakfast. Like you don't have 5 freaking minutes to throw some toast in the toaster for you. Like you're already standing there doing it. You're already doing the work. You're already making it for your kids and you can't, oh no, I don't have 5 minutes. You are telling yourself every day, you are reaffirming to yourself every day that you are not worth 5 minutes. You are not worth feeding, that your brain is not worth giving it glucose that it needs, that your body doesn't need energy to take care of yourself and your job and your kids. We're not showing up for ourselves. And then we're still kind of showing up for each other, but then there's like resentment and we're burning out and it's exhausting. So how are we even going to show up for the big new scary things? How are we going to change the conversations with ourselves? How are we going to change the direction of our lives? How are we going to do the new things? Like, how are you going to become that 30 or 40 or 50-year-old that has like a whole new wave of success because you started a new career, you did something different, if you're not even showing up for yourself for like some fucking toast? Right? Like, for some reason, when I combine fuck and toast, it makes you laugh. Get some
Eat your fucking toast.
Woo!
I'm gonna tell that to the kids in the morning when they don't eat breakfast.
Oh man!
Will you just eat your fucking toast?
Man, we have to stop letting the anxiety and the self-doubt and the fears stop. Like, we have to stop letting it stop us from showing up.
Yes,
and the only way to do that is to remind ourselves we're in control. Yes, we all have different, you guys know how I feel about this. We all have different access to help and to tools and to all sorts of different things. We all have different levels of privilege, all these things. But what we choose to show up for, wherever our situation is in, that's up to us. This might be a really bad example, but I was reading about Martha Stewart the other day because I'm so in love with the fact that she's done a show with Snoop Dogg. I just feel like it's the biggest middle finger to like white corporate America. Like, it's just amazing. And I was reading about her 5 months in jail. This woman, now I know she's like a millionaire, billionaire, whatever. I get it.
Billionaire.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she's in jail, probably cushy, but she's in jail. And she was like creating programs and like doing all this stuff, right? All these things. And I'm just like, if she can do all that in jail, billionaire or not, then, you know, I can make myself some toast. You know, Some fucking toast. I can go pee when I need to pee. Like, I can change jobs if I know deep down that's what I need to do. I can change majors in college if I know that the path I'm on isn't right for me, even though that's what my parents want me to do. You know, I can go to Australia and have a beautiful, powerful experience instead of staying home and creating more of the same old, right?
And I was able to stay home while you were in Australia.
Yeah. How amazing is
and had
that?
actually a really good 2 weeks with the kids. Mm-hmm. Because while you were afraid to go, I was afraid to be here by myself.
Yes.
I had a lot of anxiety about that and worry and just, I mean, honestly, who wants to stay home by themselves for 2 weeks with 6 kids? No one wants to do that. Let's be honest.
Only that working parent who maybe has to be gone from their kids and never gets to see them. It'd be only a situation like that.
Maybe.
Right?
But it turned out to be a really phenomenal 2 weeks. I watched more movies in that 2 weeks than I have watched in a long, long time in any 2 week span. Caught up in all these movies that the kids kept telling me I had to see. You have to see this. You have to see that. Like, all right, I've seen it. You happy? So yeah, we had a great time. It went well. Every day I assigned 45-minute turns with the 4-year-old.
Yeah, that is something that we do sometimes in our home because we have, 4 or 5 older children.
Yeah. That
they can play with their younger sister while we get some stuff done in the house. We're right here.
Well, I do it more frequently.
You do it more than I do it. I know.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have 4 of the older kids each taking a 45-minute turn with the 4-year-old, then
this is a good example of a
hours.
Difference. You're like, what would be best for me? And so you assign the turns where I'm like, well, I'm like, how do the other kids feel about having to do that?
Yeah.
This is why it's good there's both of us because we balance each other out because I go too far one way and sometimes you go too far the other way. So we're really good at meeting.
No, I had it balanced out well because I would do that and then, I would have them do jobs around the house. But then I also said yes a lot when they asked me questions about, playing on the Switch or their DS or iPod or movies or shows, whatever. I said yes a lot. And so it was a good back and forth exchange. They did things for me. I did things for them and it worked out well. And it turned out to be really, really smooth couple weeks. So if there are any of you that have to be home for extended periods with young ones, if you have some older kids that can help out, then assign turns.
And you're still in the home, like you're still overseeing everything. It's just keeping those younger kiddos occupied with an older sibling, and that's okay. That's okay to do that.
Actually, no, I had the older 5. I had the bull take turns.
I know
he's 8 now. He can play with his little sister, and he did dishes, and he's stepped up, and he's. Yeah. I keep telling him, like, do you want to be one of the older 5 or do you want to be one of the younger 2? And so he's starting to become one of the older 5, and it's cool.
So basically
great.
you and all the kids showed the fuck up too, right? Like
Yeah.
you showed
Yeah.
up and all the kids stepped up and did their parts and helped with the home and helped with the younger kiddos and did their homeschool. And, you know, everyone showed up. And can you imagine if I had canceled and stayed home? I bet you those 2 weeks would have been miserable because I would have felt miserable the entire time knowing I did that.
Yeah. It would have probably been a hard couple weeks.
Yeah.
But it didn't
Would've
happen
been
that way.
awful.
It happened the other way. And
It did. Yeah. So I did a post
handled
on Instagram, and I just want to read the last part of it because it goes so well with this. And so I almost let the anxiety and self-doubt and fears, stop that from happening. And the thought of that trip and those conferences never existing is unimaginable now. But what he doesn't know and what I forgot is that this Mama J is stronger, wiser, and sexier than him. So while most days the last few years have been filled with crippling anxiety, I'm ready to shed him. He was trying to protect me from trauma, betrayal, and hurt. I know that now, but I am reacquainted with her, my power, and I'm ready to know her fully and completely again, ready to nurture her, ready to make love to her. So I will say that since choosing something so different than what I have been the last few years and facing my fears and going on this trip and how flawless the trip and the conferences and the traveling, everything went, and you guys hear how flawless it went here as well. And since I've been home, it has been better. You know, I really feel like I did have an MMA fight in my mind with my anxiety and basically had a knockout. I knocked it out. Woohoo! I need to get myself a belt, like a championship belt. Amazing. It has to be rainbows.
Is there a ring girl?
I am the ring girl and the fighter. Okay.
Ah.
So,
multitasker.
And since I've been home, that's right. What's my name? Aren't all moms. So since I've been home, it has been better. And there's some days that have been a little harder than others. You know, I can't just expect everything to be perfect all the time. That's not how life works. But because of that experience, I feel like that experience for me personally was kind of like after I had my first home birth. Like if I can do that, I can do anything. I felt like I was on a birth high. I felt like I've been on a VBAC high. I actually crashed the last few days from it because that's exactly what it was. It was like this birth high and all this oxytocin. And the last few days I kind of crashed from it and I had to get all those emotions out. We went and got coffee and I just yelled and cussed and cried about how I was feeling. And I was like, I felt like I was having, instead of having like a different body image, it was like different like life image. Like I knew on paper, this is how my life was going. But in my mind, I was like fucking failing at everything and everything was falling apart, even though I knew it wasn't. And so I was just coming down and I was crashing really hard from that birth high, and it was like the postpartum hormones set in and the sleep deprivation set in.
It was also like 5 p.m. and you hadn't had any caffeine.
I know. I don't know why I hadn't coffee yet. That was really,
you
really
had coffee, and about 30 minutes later, you're like, it's all smiles.
So on the way
back to normal.
So on the way to get coffee, I'm like, I know once I have this coffee, it's going to change my life. But until then, and I just went off. But I got it all out. Like we have to feel the feelings, right? Like feel the feelings and move through them. Don't get stuck in them, but move through them. So I felt all the feelings and I came down from that. And so, you know, each day, if I'm feeling a little unsure about something or nervous about something, I'm like, the only thing you have to do, January, is show the fuck up and do your best. And that's going to be what it's going to be. And it's helped me a lot. So show up for you first, You have to show up for you first or you're going to get burnt out and be resentful. And it's just ridiculous. Like, I feel like at this point, I just can't say this enough, I guess. I feel like I'm saying it all the time. And sometimes I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but I guess we just have to hear it over and over again because we don't live in a society that really supports that mindset. So show up for yourself first. Like nothing horrible is going to happen. There's not going to be some big natural disaster if you go pee when you need to pee, or you feed yourself too, or you take an hour to go for a walk or go to the gym and then get to your list of stuff to get done. You actually get to it less frazzled and less stressed. So show up for yourself first, and then show up for those bigger things. Maybe start smaller, but those scary things or those things that excite you or scare you, it means that you're supposed to do them. You're supposed to try them. And guess what? A, you can change your mind later. And B, you don't have to succeed at whatever that thing is. You don't have to. Like you're allowed to try it and fucking fall flat on your face and fail. Because guess what? You're going to learn from that. And when you get back up and you show up to the next thing, you're going to have that wisdom to take in the next thing with you. Because let me tell you what, we have fallen on our face a lot.
Yes, we have.
We have fallen on our face so much. It's amazing. We're still so beautiful. We have fallen.
I am quite lovely.
Yes. Maybe it's the padding in the beard helps you when you fall. Like, and my boobs help me when I fall. That's what it is. The boobs and the beard. It always comes back to that. Anyways,
boobs and beards.
That's a whole other episode.
We actually did one.
Yeah. Did we?
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, we have fallen on our face so much. And there have been seasons, you guys, even recently, where I know you probably feel the same way, Brandon, where I'm like, what is the point of all this? Why am I doing all this? Why am I showing up for all this? Why does it have to be so hard? And I don't have all the answers to that, except I just kept showing up and knew that I had to get better, that I had to face my shit, that I had to correct my mistakes, that I had to, and I'm still in the middle of that. And some days are easier than others, but they're getting like better and better and better. The more I show up and the less I hide, the better it gets. The hiding doesn't accomplish shit. The pulling away, the letting the fears take over, it doesn't accomplish anything. You're just going to get more of the same shit and then wonder why your life is shit. And it's because you're literally just like recreating the shit. Yeah. So, keep showing up because that's going to change things slowly. It doesn't just change overnight. Like the overnight success. That's your favorite thing when people say that, right?
Oh, no. Overnight success after 10 years of work.
Well, do you have anything else to add for the showing up and just kind of the message in general, or what helps you to show up? Or
Well, for me, I've always been a dreamer. And so instead of setting time goals, which I always fail at, the minute I set like a goal with a deadline, it's just a way for me to set myself up to fail. What I do is I have a dream or an intention that I go after. And if I jump all in with it, then I'm literally going to work on that dream or desire or goal, whatever you want to call it, until I succeed or until there's nothing left to do. And that can be a good thing and a bad thing. Sometimes I don't know when to quit. There are times in my life when I should have quit certain things. I just kept going and going to my detriment. But it's also a good thing for me because I tend to see things through to success that I want. And so for me, I want to be a best-selling fantasy author. And so I love to write. And I've been working on a manuscript for about 1.5 years. And so while you were in Australia, when I would have the older kids take turns with the 4-year-old, I was working really hard on that. And I finished the first draft, and now I'm in my edits. So
it's so exciting.
Yeah. So for me, it's just having that one thing that will get me up out of bed in the morning. I've always had to have that. And for years, it was chiropractic. Going to school and then graduating school and trying to build up a practice and then, finally having success in practice. It was, well over a decade that chiropractic literally consumed my every thought. And now with all the different success we're having in different areas, that focus has shifted a bit, but it's no less intense than it was back when I chiropractic. So for me, that's what's showing up for me is just having that dream or that goal or that aspiration that will get my ass out of bed in the morning. And writing is that. Playing the guitar is that way too. I feel like I've been improving by leaps and bounds, and that's been exciting to me. But right now, that's more of a hobby. I think I have more of a chance at writing.
But that's okay because we
term.
need hobbies that we don't always monetize. We live in a time where it's monetize everything. You can just play the guitar because you enjoy it, not because you need to monetize it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I don't have any desire to monetize. I mean, I've written lots of songs, and I don't know if there's going to ever be
who knows if
monetary benefit from it.
If it ever happened, it happens. But yeah, it's okay. And that's something I've been working on, is finding something that makes me feel that way for me, not to monetize for anyone else. Like, well, I think I've decided that's like weekly massages. That should be my hobby.
Yeah. But for me, writing and becoming a published author, a fantasy author, that's literally been a dream that I've had longer than we've been together.
Yes.
So I mean,
Long time.
it's been a life dream,
And it's been a dream of mine since before we've been together to be a doctor. So we literally
fulfilled each other's dreams.
I know, it's so funny. It's so interesting. But we've been together a long time. So if you're listening to this and you're wondering, okay, like, how do I face my fears? Like, how do I show up? I'm going to direct you to Tim Ferriss, and you can look up his TED Talk on this. But he talks, I watched this on the plane coming home from Australia, actually. He talks about how instead of goal setting, he does fear setting. You know, and I have done this for years in my own mind, where if I'm really scared of something, I let myself play it out logically to worst case scenario and like then work my way back. Because a lot of times it's not as bad as I think, or you know what, if it happens, I'll handle it. And it calms me down. But he has it wrapped up much prettier and explains it much better doing fear setting. So look up Tim Ferriss and fear setting, and that might help you a lot if you're really having a hard time pushing past fears and anxieties to be able to show up to whatever it is you're really wanting to show up for.
Yes, he also mentions it in Tools of Titans.
Yeah, is that his newest book, or did he come out with another one?
That's his second to last book.
Yeah, he came out with two pretty quick.
Yeah, the newest one is Tribe of Mentors, I believe.
Yeah.
I haven't read that one yet,
Yeah.
but Tools of Titans, he does.
So
he does
that's a tool that could help you if you listen to this.
It is a good strategy too.
It is. It's phenomenal, and it was so validating when I watched it. I'm like, that's what I do in my head. But
our oldest daughter was saying yesterday that she does that as well. I was talking with
she?
her, and she just brought that up out of the blue. I was like, oh, that's what Mom was talking about the other day. She does that too.
That's neat.
Yeah,
that's really, really neat.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll leave you to it.
Adios. Did I jump the gun?
No, because usually I say, all right, guys, until next time.
Adios.
Love ya. There it is.
Adios again.
No.